So, sorry. So I just saw this post on Tumblr, and it was this image saying, hunters say, "Oh, but I use every part of the animal," so saying that they're better. Um, and then, of course, someone adds, "You know who else uses every part of the animal? The animal." It's going against hunters. But in the whole argument of mistreating animals and being a vegan or whatever, hunting is ethical. Fine, you're killing the animal, but do you know who else hunts? Wolves, foxes, bobcats, cougars, any carnivore in the wild. Are they suddenly unethical? In fact, humans who use every part of the animal are better than the animals who hunt, because they eat the good bits and leave the rest, and then the scavengers come and kind of take care of the garbage, but they all leave a decent amount of the animals. They all leave the bones but to rot, which in the ecosystem or whatever, but they all leave skeletons, which take forever to degrade. Whereas like humans can use the skeleton, the bones, and sell it to make it used for gelatin, or they can. I've even seen people make it, make stuff out of the bones, like handles for knives, or just take cool bone handles and necklace and jewelry and whatnot, and it's really cool. And that is using every single part of the animal, so you're not killing and then leaving waste. Like it's better. And oops, sorry, I should hit dismiss on that. But anyways, but thing is that, okay, hunting is far more ethical than farming to get your meat, because the animal gets to live its life free in the wild before it's killed. And the thing is that hunting laws prohibit the killing of does and fawn, and basically, if you can, like, you're not supposed to kill the women or the children type deal when it comes to hunting. Same goes for other animals. With things, it's harder to tell with things like geese and whatnot. But anyways, and you're only allowed to hunt a certain amount of an animal, and it varies area to area depending on what the population of the animal is, and the number changes depending on the population of the animal. And you are, like I said, you're only allowed to, and also you're only allowed to hunt for certain parts of the year, and that number goes for the hunting season. And you're only supposed to, and they have, the whole like joke, it's duck season, it's rabbit season or whatever. You're allowed to hunt a certain animal at certain times of the year, because they'll have people who monitor the populations of this prey animal to see, and they'll change the numbers to see which one is, like what animal needs this amount hunted, because the thing is that predators make the herd healthy. Predators are necessary for the survival of the species, or I don't know, survival of the species, but they're necessary. They're extremely necessary. I think I've referred to this video before, but I'm going to put the link in the description, called How Wolves Change Rivers, and it talks about how Yellowstone Park, and it shows pictures of the before, it was a dead land, essentially. It was ugly, and there was barely any animal diversity, or there was no diversity as far as either fauna or flora came, as far as plants or animals or anything. It was just deer. And they introduced wolves into this environment, and then all these other species started coming, and all these of plants, and the river came instead of just this kind of boggish land, and it transformed just by introducing an apex predator. They changed the entirety of the land and made it beautiful again. Because the thing is that there's a reason why there are predatory animals and creatures and beings, because you need to control where the animals are going, because it was plants couldn't grow because the deer were eating them, and they were messing up the marshlands, so they couldn't develop properly, and all this other, it was causing all these other problems, and it was just basically killing the land. But another issue that raises it, without a herd of deer with nothing to keep the population in check, they will fucking run out of food. The amount of deer will be there'll be too many deer for the land to sustain, so they will run out of food and they will starve to death. And that has happened. I mean, I remember learning about this in freaking, I don't know, grade 6, about how they did this study where they had this like way back in the 70s, where they were trying to preserve, have a predator-free environment. And the problem is that what happened is that all the animals were, the population was exploding, and then, so they'd be checked once a year, and so it'd be exploding, and all of a sudden it started deteriorating, and they had all this dead, and then first it was starving to death, and then the animal wouldn't get eaten by anything because there's no predators, and then what would happen is that the festering meat would cause bacteria and germs and illness, which would get the deer sick. And so it just, after a couple years, after they first started dying of starvation, the whole herd was dead because of illness and starvation. Because the festering meat, it doesn't allow plants to grow after a while, the decomposition and the rot and everything else. But at first, because the acidity of it doesn't, because produce and plants, they can right away decompose to become food for plants, but animal meat is too acidic, so it takes a while. And the more you have, and if it's something small, it's no problem, but the bigger it is and the more you have of it, the harder it is for shit to grow. So basically, would you rather a quick, fast, painless death of a bullet to the head, or, a wolf or something tearing out its throat, or would you rather it starve to death or die of illness? Because that'll take months, and that will be painful and awful. What is more ethical? Really? Really? Torturing the animal or killing it off? Predators keep the herd healthy. Anyone who knows anything about animals will know that. And I've complained in the past about MRAs, not MRAs, sorry, ARAs. I'm always mixing that shit up. Animal rights activists not actually knowing anything about the animals. Seriously. Okay, farming, yeah, okay, I get your issues with that. Fine. But hunting, stop bitching about it, because hunting is ethical. It's way more ethical than the alternative. And if you're gonna get pissed off at someone for killing animals in the wild, don't get pissed off at the people killing, the deer and the rabbits because rabbits can overrun a land and fuck everything up too, and the geese and everything else. Get pissed off at the people who are killing the coyotes and the wolves and the bobcats and the cougars and the foxes and all the other predatory animals. Because the reason why humans have to keep the animals in check is because there aren't enough natural predators. So if you're gonna get all up in arms about someone killing animals in the wild, get pissed off at the people killing the natural predators, because they're the ones who are making it so that, they get into a situation where the animals, will starve to death and get sick. So, yeah. That's my 2 cents. That said, my whole mom's side of the family goes hunting every year, and I've never partook in it because I couldn't harm an animal. And while I do eat meat, I honestly treat my pets and animals that I see with the same respect I treat people, much to the frustration of my family who want to treat them, well, like animals, I guess. And yeah, no, I'm not a vegan because I don't have the, mental strength or stability to take like half of my diet out, especially when I have to deal with, I've explained this in the past, I have a hard enough time making sure I eat healthy. Trying to get rid of something that is good for me, that I like, would make me very, very unhealthy, which worsens my mental state and my self-control and blah 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 blah. Sorry, my mental health comes first, and if you think I'm an asshole for that, fuck you. Thanks for watching!